Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Always Online Multiplayer Gaming Podcast brought to you by MMORPG, your home for all things multiplayer related. I am Mike Byrne, a.k.a. magicman, and this is episode 421. Of course, we're doing the show live, twitch.tv/MMOBomb. If you're watching on YouTube or on the site, go ahead and click subscribe, click like, throw a comment in there, whether it's your weekly bomb or your question of the week answer, or you just have something you want to tell the panel. Feed that algorithm, help us out. And if you like what we do here, tell all of your friends. We've got news to get to, weekly bombs to get to, question of the weeks to get to, and of course, we'll be picking live our winner for our Guild Wars 2 giveaway. So we'll be doing that in just a few minutes. Let's get started, though, by introducing Mr. Jason Winter. What's up, sir? How are you?
A weird noise from my room somewhere, so I'm a little concerned that the house is falling apart. But otherwise, I'm fine.
That is not good.
Fine. It's totally fine.
What do you got in the background there? It looks like your little like waifu phone number black book notebook thing.
We had some Aura Kingdom news this week, so that got me thinking of Aura Kingdom and the time that Area Games flew me out there to back in December of 2013. Not long ago, and I had an ice storm on my way back in. But anyway, yeah, so they gave me the notebook, gave me a few of the notebooks, and even some decks of Aura Kingdom cards, which I have somewhere.
Nice.
So,
yeah, they do have an update going on. Yeah, lots of Gamigo updates. We actually had to jam them all together into one piece because we weren't about to give Gamigo 7 press posts on the same day.
Yeah.
We love you, but damn, guys, come on. Also on the line, Ms. Cortland Bowers. What's up, Q?
Hey, that was just really weird for a second.
I was choking on my spit. That's what happened. I mean,
this is really bad.
I mean, you had to go ahead and point it out. Couldn't just let it roll and keep going. Yes, I was choking on my own spit trying to introduce you.
This is way funnier.
You have lots of stuff in the background. Is there something you want to point at and talk about there since Jason got his book? Something cool you got back there?
She has the same old crap every week. I put something different up.
The very bottom piece over here is I don't know if you can tell it's an Okami.
Oh yeah, now I can tell now that you've said it. Yes.
Right. So it was a Christmas birthday gift from Yod's wife.
Oh, all right. Yod, our host over with Jason and I over on Gaming Gumbo on Ready Check Radio. Nice. Jason, I was thinking when you talked about Aura Kingdom, I have a metal lunchbox from Spirit Tales. If you remember that game. Yeah, it's back here. You can't see it, but it's back here to my right. A metal lunchbox from Spirit Tales. That's enough of the cool stuff. Let's get started with the news.
But that's enough of the cool stuff. We're not going to talk about anything cool from now on the rest of the show.
No, I think the rest of the show's just going to make
it during the videos, you guys are muted, so nobody heard what Jason said. But yeah, he did call me out again on, that's the cool stuff, so none of the news is cool. We're not allowed to... Yeah.
We're done with the cool stuff.
I thought about it as soon as I said it. I was like, yeah, that kind of came out wrong. But I mean, some of this news
you can just leave right
cool,
now. The rest of this is going to be boring.
Some of this news isn't cool, though. We do want to give a couple updates on pieces. And obviously, we are not, unaware of the condition of the world right now, being in a bit of a tizzy and some nasty stuff going on in other places. Our hearts and thoughts, obviously, with everyone in the Ukraine, and hoping this gets put to bed very, very quickly. Yeah. So if we can distract for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, that's what we're here to do. Take your mind off things, and obviously we hope everybody stays as safe as humanly possible. So on the Microsoft Activision Blizzard front, got a couple interesting, small tidbits as the SEC filings are starting to be combed over. Yeah, there was that whole initial thing where people were like, "Oh, they said nobody's trying to unionize, Jason, and they lied." No, they didn't technically lie by what that form was looking for, so we didn't cover any of that stupid stuff. But we did think this was a little interesting. We all thought, hey, Microsoft was getting in while the getting was good, right? The stock price for Activision Blizzard was down. It was having bad news after bad news after bad news, dropping the stock price more. Swoop in and buy it while it is cheaper. Yeah, that's just kind of business sense. But what we really didn't know, Jason, is exactly, like, they seem to be almost like a buzzard flying over what they thought might be a corpse, and the minute it became a corpse, they jumped in ASAP. I mean, they were there ASAP.
Yeah. So there was the Wall Street Journal expose on, exactly what Bobby Kotick had done and all of his misdeeds and so forth and whatever. And that came out on November 16th.
So this is not like right after California presses charges. This is months later when Wall Street Journal says Bobby Kotick knew. And by the way, they alleged he participated. He was a harasser himself.
Yes. So after that came out, you had a couple days later, Phil Spencer said that they were evaluating their relationship with Activision Blizzard.
Something we talked about on a cast, yeah.
Yep. So, and then just a day after that, and was one day after that, 2 days after that, whatever. That was when Phil Spencer called Bobby Kotick, got him in touch with Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, and then they started actually talking about a deal. So the timing on it is interesting in that you have, as soon as those allegations come out, that's when they start getting serious about starting up the acquisition talks. Which, by the way, of course, happened after Phil Spencer said his thing, which makes you wonder a little bit about the exact timing and the motivation on his part as well.
Yeah, and it is a little questionable even from a tampering almost front, Q, right? Because you have the head of Xbox publicly saying we're evaluating our relationship with a AAA big money gaming company. And that's certainly, I mean, there really wasn't a lot of time for a reaction, right? Because we're talking about a 24-hour window. But that could certainly be interpreted as trying to influence the stock price. I would imagine shareholders in Activision Blizzard would not like to hear news that somebody as big as Microsoft is considering their relationship with that company. I think it's a gray area. I don't think anything nefarious actually happened with those comments personally, just because the turnaround time is too fast. I think if you want those comments to impact the stock price to get it even cheaper, you let those comments sit for a week or so, not immediately the next day try to buy them. But there is definitely that perception, Q.
It's not, I think, unusual for when stuff happens, right? You just kind of see stocks kind of go after a comment like that within a 24-hour period. For, maybe not stay down. And
yeah.
The way the purchase and everything is, these purchases go, I don't know how, when they first say, hey, we want to buy you, after the stocks drop for a little bit, the day after they make a comment, they're not necessarily gonna get Activision Blizzard for the drop stock price, are they?
Right.
Within that 24-hour period,
but it does give you a little bargaining power
and,
as far as this is what we're willing to pay. It's also, I think, important to note here, Jason, that Phil Spencer and Xbox weren't the only companies to have said something similar, right? This was an industry-wide thing where Sony said something and Microsoft said something and other smaller companies said things. So, I kind of think, it doesn't look great, especially now that we know how fast you tried to swoop in and buy them, but ultimately probably didn't have much of an impact on anything. On this front, though, not even all the shareholders are on board with this sale, much less the SEC and everybody that's going to be doing their due diligence on this sale. As we did find out yesterday, there's a shareholder that is now suing Activision Blizzard, saying that this sale is purely just to take advantage of the situation and profit all of the people that are already getting insanely rich. And by the way, Bobby Kotick is set up to get huge bonuses if he can prove, Jason, that the culture has changed. So let's measure you on something that is almost impossible to measure in a real meaningful change way and bonus you accordingly. And some people might not be thrilled to know that he could be on longer than originally thought. So a lot of oddball small news. Go ahead, Jason.
By some people, you mean everybody except him.
Right. Yeah.
That's who's not happy about it.
Right.
Pretty
Right.
much. I
Right.
kind of wonder
Literally
though,
every
for their
person on the
metric
planet.
of, the culture changing, do they just have a big sign up in Blizzard Activision now that's basically like X amount of days since
Yeah, so like the objectives they put on it, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, they were things like, the diversity committee thing, creating that committee, and then also a commitment to hiring more women and BIPOC employees and diverse non-binary employees. Like those types of things, I guess technically are measurable, right? How many women did we hire over the last 6 months? How many men did we hire over the last 6 months? Is this diversity committee created? But to me, culture change, those are the bare minimum steps to start a long-term culture change. You don't have a culture change because you were hiring 20% women and now you're hiring 40% women. That's not
just because you hire them doesn't mean you're treating them right.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so it's the things you would want to see there aren't really things that you can measure by a meaningful metric, but he's going to get this bonus anyway. Like I just,
Yeah, he is.
Unreal. On the Elder Scrolls Online side of things, actually on the all Bethesda side of things, a little bit of interesting news that Jason and I, we were kind of bantering back and forth on why this might be the case. Like, where is this coming from? Bethesda's going to shut down its launcher. And next month, well, a little more than next month, in April, we'll get directions on anything you need to do, because all of your games on the Bethesda launcher, including Elder Scrolls Online, which I'm showing a little fun B-roll of their upcoming expansion, they are shifting over to Steam. They're just dropping the launcher entirely. And so, Jason, the first question you came out with was, why would you do that? Like, why would you... Bethesda... Granted, there are... All these companies have their own damn launchers. It's annoying, and some of them have no right having their own launchers. But Bethesda is one of those companies that you have enough games, you have enough big games, you have enough of a player base that it kind of makes sense to maybe have your own launcher and not share profits with anybody. Why shut that down and put it on Steam, where you're going to have to share up to 30% of any revenue generated through the Steam platform? It's kind of a weird play there. Second question is, with Microsoft buying them, why is it going to Steam and not the Microsoft store? Not that I would want it to, but why wouldn't it go to the Microsoft store? So there's kind of weird, are the player bases in trouble, and maybe 70% of what you think you can get on Steam is better than 0% of nobody coming over? Or is this a Microsoft directive of staying in line with Phil Spencer's of let's make games available on as many different areas as we can and as many platforms as we can? I'm not exactly sure what the play is here and why.
The more I've thought about it, the more I've wondered that, like, for instance, when I first bought Skyrim back in like 2011, I had to register it on Steam. Like, that was the only option.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there have been a lot more versions of Skyrim since then. A lot of which you could do via the Bethesda launcher and so forth. But I wonder now, what is the percentage of people playing Skyrim on, say, Steam versus Bethesda launcher? If it's like 90-10, maybe they realize, and that would probably be one of the, and that's still their biggest, probably maybe Elder Scrolls Online, but Skyrim is still probably their biggest thing. It makes you wonder if it really is even worth it, if there's enough people using the Bethesda launcher that they think it's still worth it to keep that thing running.
Yeah,
So
correct me if I'm wrong. The Bethesda launcher was a late thing, right? Like,
at least after Skyrim.
So
I think it first arrived around the time they did Fallout Shelter.
Elder Scrolls Online, I think I played that via the launchers, like 2014 or so.
Maybe they really started pushing it with Fallout Shelter when they brought it to PC.
Yeah, maybe.
Remember, it was mobile, and then they were like, "Oh, but this is here."
Right.
So yeah, at least it was a little later, but at least in time for that, in time for Fallout 4, stuff like that. So
why not the Microsoft store, right? I mean,
that I can't answer. That one I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little weird, isn't it, Q? Like Microsoft saying, that's fine. Yeah, let's see it. Let's share it on Steam.
It is a little odd, but there is, I mean, they would have to do stuff for it, I think, but there is one benefit to being on Steam, and that's with the NVIDIA GeForce Now thing.
Oh
You can
yeah.
tie in
Yeah.
Steam account and play your Steam games through the cloud. So, I mean, but obviously each game developer has to do their improvement stuff or whatever on it. So maybe that's a benefit.
K-Max saying ESO on Steam just opens its own launcher anyway. Yeah, we're not talking about the launcher for the specific game. Like ESO has, yes, its own launcher.
Yeah, the
We're
actual
talking about the actual
launcher.
Bethesda.net launcher that has, their version of Battle.net. Yeah. I mean, to me, I was already playing them on Steam anyway, so I guess this
Doesn't really affect you?
doesn't really affect me. We'll see.
What'll be interesting is when we look at Steam charts after this goes live and see if we'll see what the difference is in like Elder Scrolls Online or Skyrim or whatever, and see.
Yeah.
So people get an idea of how many
call.
people were playing on.
Yeah, good call.
launcher
You
now
are
if you go to Steam,
essentially destroying your cover of Steam charts isn't our entire player base, right? There are people using the Bethesda launcher. Of course, we can't get like the console players of ESO and stuff like that, but PC is generally going to be the largest audience there, so we'll be able to see the exact sizes of those audiences soon. As we all make the migration. Stay tuned. They'll be giving us some more details in March on that change coming up later this year. We have not done a lot of reporting on this game, and there's a reason. One, basically all of us behind the scenes were like, nah, this is kind of scammy from day one. And we weren't the only ones. By far, we weren't the only ones. Two, they bombarded me with press releases all the time.
Friday.
All the time. Usually, on Friday, close of business. And they were usually not that great. It wasn't like, hey, here's details on our expansion. Like, it was,
Update 34.8.3.
Well, and the other thing it was update 34.8, which had the same information from update 34.7, which had the same information from update.
Yeah, so generally none of us, there are articles, I think the last time we wrote about it was almost a year ago, and we're talking about Shroud of the Avatar. Now, we did write up about it this week because there's been a lot of questions surrounding Shroud of the Avatar, not just through the years in like the weird Richard Garriott selling his hair and stuff like that, and I think his blood at one point, if I remember right. And then like crowdfunding and this type of investment, and then they partnered with Seed Invest to get investments through there. And while crowdfunding, I mean, you're kind of at the mercy of maybe the product comes out or maybe it doesn't come out. When you start using Seed Invest, there are like legal ramifications in making sure those investments are paid out. Everything just started to get very, very weird. And Seed Invest really didn't comment on it for a long time. They broke that silence, and it's not looking any better for Shroud of the Avatar now than it was 6 months ago or a year ago, Mr. Winter.
Yeah, so apparently the Seed Invest said that, quote, Portalarian had obligations to its Seed Invest backers. Specifically, it was required to file annual reports with the SEC to provide transparency to investors, which it didn't do in 2019 or 2020, apparently going so far as to have deleted parts of its documentation on the Seed Invest website.
So they're actually not filing annual reports that the Securities and Exchanges Commission requires them to file, and they haven't done it for multiple years.
You would think that would result in some sort of bad thing happening, but I guess the SEC is just busy with everything else.
They're busy with Microsoft and Blizzard.
But they weren't in 2019 and 2020, so I don't know.
There are a stunning 43 people playing on Steam right now.
Yeah.
A stunning 43 players, Q.
To really, really push that game, right? Because I backed Camelot Unchained, like really early on.
Did you really?
Like $25 or whatever. And to really push this, they did some sort of thing where they teamed up with Camelot Unchained, which is how I ended up getting all of Portalarium's emails. Because then they basically Camelot Unchained was like, here, have access to our customer base too.
God. Seed Invest has basically told its investors, don't expect any return here of any type. And
we've tried, but we just can't get in touch with them. Basically.
And Massively OP had some of the quotes that we're using here. They received some of the quotes here, so credit to them on the reporting for some of these quotes. But according to Seed Invest, there's just like there's a question on, is it even worth going after them legally as far as time and money? I mean, Garriott bailed on this a while ago.
But apparently still quietly says nice things about it or whatever, but not really officially attached.
Yeah, he says nice things occasionally. It's very weird. I never tried it because the whole thing just seems scammy to me personally. And then obviously we weren't covering non-free-to-play, so we didn't really cover Shroud of the
But then it went free-to-play.
But then it went free-to-play, and so we picked up the coverage a little bit, and then we all got kind of annoyed with where it was going and was just like, we'll post this if we're really, really slow this day.
They did a festival to celebrate the birthday of one of their founders.
Yeah. It's weird. Seed Invest can't get a hold of them. I got a press release from them last week for their the week before for their Valentine's Day event in game. I don't know.
You would like their email.
Yeah, if you would like their email, Seed Invest, give me a call. We'll send you their email. All right, before we move along here, let's pick our Guild Wars 2 winner again. Thank you for ArenaNet on this one. You're going to get headphones. You're going to get a mouse. You're going to get concept art on glass. You're going to get a copy of the game, End of Dragons, when it comes out. You had to comment on MMOBomb.com's post of the Always Online podcast to be entered. Yes, somebody said, does it count if I just say mounted? Yeah, I put you on the winners list here. You didn't have to answer the question of the week or give your weekly bomb. That just made it really easy for you. Those of you that commented something totally else, it's totally different, you are entered here too as well. So here's how we're going to pick the winner. It is going to be random. Excuse me. I have a list of everybody that commented on MMOBomb.com's post for the Always Online podcast. Your name shows up once. There was one or two of you that commented once or twice, breaking your question of the. You only get one entry. So everybody has one entry. And I have you all listed here in the order that you appear on MMOBomb.com, which is most recent to oldest. So no favoritism here. I also have a random number generator up. Boop! Right there. Jason, what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to give me a number between 1 and 5. Before you do, here's what we're going to do. I will trigger the random number generator. Actually, I got to resize this just a little so I can... Yeah, there we go. Get the generate button. I will trigger the generator that number of times. So if you say 1, I'm going to roll it once, and that number is our winner. If you say 3, I'm going to roll it 3 times. The first 2 don't count. The third one indicates our winner. Now, ArenaNet is shipping these prizes within the United States. So if you are inside the United States and you win, I will email you from magicman at MMOBomb.com, so adjust your spam filters accordingly to obtain your address, and I will share it with ArenaNet. Full disclosure, I will be giving your address to them. We left ours open to the entire globe, though. So if the winner is outside of the United States, we will contact ArenaNet. They will ship it to me. I will repackage it and ship it to you at our expense to get it to you. If they'll give me the code for the game via email, I'll email you the code so you at least have that ahead of launch. But the physical goods will be mailed. All right, Jason, a number between 1 and 5, please.
I don't want to make too much work for you, but also I because I want to get this cast done because I have the pizza coming afterwards. But I want to make some work for you, so I'm going to go with 4.
4. All right, 4. So this is roll number 1. And ironically, we got a 1. That doesn't count. Number 2 doesn't count. Number 3 doesn't count. Number 4. We get 24. Let me go to my list.
I got 1 twice.
I did.
Yeah.
Driz.
The first guy to comment is so mad.
The winner is Driznit86ZBT. Driznit86ZBT. If you're in chat under some other name, say hi and let me know. If you're not and you're watching this on YouTube, Driz, go check your email. Go check your spam folder. You're going to get an email from me asking for your shipping address for this prize. However, if you do not reply to me within 3 days, so by Sunday night, I got to give it to somebody else. I got to roll. So I'll send you the email tonight. I need to hear from you by Monday. Moving on with the news. Congrats, Driz. Thanks again to ArenaNet for that prize. A couple of weird just little tidbits for you that I was like, well, I'm not really sure what's going on with this. We've got a couple games, appearing. There we go. Just appearing on Steam. Yeah, just appearing on Steam. Now, we knew Fallen Earth was making its little comeback where they were, you had covered that, I think, where they were just like, you know what, we're going to put the game back up. We don't know when. And poof, oh shit, it's up. And we got that. But your team, your friends over at High Res appear to also have pushed Global Agenda back on Steam. You're going to have to go to mmobomb.com and click on the article to get the link because you can't search it through Steam. It's delisted there for now for whatever reason. But if you want to go relive Global Agenda or Fallen Earth, you can do so on Steam right now. Q, you going to be playing?
No.
No.
I got other things I'm doing.
I'm a little unsure why this one's back, unless maybe it's a tease for we intend to do something with the IP.
I mean, it totally could be. They've got enough.
Which is absolutely a high-res way to do things.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what the high-res way is anymore. It's whatever random crap they come up with.
C-Swag, you downloaded Global Agenda. You couldn't resist, huh? You were like, oh my god, it's back. It's back.
I thought about it. I played a bit of this
Did you
back
really?
in the day. Yeah. I like the PvP in it.
I had never played it. I mean, did you think now Tribes fans are like, what the fuck? Where's ours?
They tried with Tribes, though. They said they talked about how much they tried, and they just could not. They could not nail it. Like, they let it last for so long trying to get it right, and then they were finally just, you know what?
Hey, I mean,
plus Tribes would cost them money.
I think they got to be planning to do something with the IP. There's like zero reason to bring this back on Steam, even delisted. Besides, like, I mean, it does create a little news for them, I guess. But what does that do for you 4 days after that news is shared on all the websites that hey, you can go play this if you want to? I think it's got to be like a little tease.
Does it say which company it's now under?
It says High Res on the Steam page.
Well,
Are you
yeah,
talking about
there's
which of
High
the
Res.
sub-companies?
Oh, it just said, it just says High Res.
Yeah, it just says High Res, yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out maybe, if it was Titan Forge.
Yeah, one of those like 70 companies that they put under them. Tencent back in a buying mood, picking up Inflexion Games. They're the developer of the upcoming game Nightingale, which, Jason, you kind of thought was a little interesting when we first saw it revealed and have been keeping an eye on just like what's going on with it. But, Improbable, the company that owned Inflexion, basically sold off its gaming studios, and Inflexion was the big portion of that. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just like, I don't know. You know what? We're not that great at games. Let's just let these people who are good at games, and we'll sell them off.
So when's the last time we talked about scavengers?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
How many players is that down to on Steam?
I don't know. I got an email from them yesterday. I didn't even assign it because it was hardly news. Like, it was 2 sentences about a boss being added. I was like,
they have 97 after a debut of 3,800.
Talked about it more recently than, say, Shroud of the Avatar.
Yeah.
Their Steam charts every month, their monthly gain is a negative 10% or worse.
Oof. I mean, this probably isn't going to do anything to Nightingale, right?
Probably, no.
Yeah, I can't imagine like Tencent wanting huge changes on that at this point. That game's pretty far in development. It never really messes with
games.
No.
They tend to leave those alone.
Yeah, you're right. They tend to, if they're going to mess with something, they do it after the fact. They're like, yeah, that failed. You're not doing that again.
Yeah, but that's basically like the bulk of it, that kind of thing. It's not like them coming in and being like, all right, you need to go in and change all of these things, and add this, monetization thing, or
Yeah.
like companies kind of do their own stuff.
Although, boy, are they hearing about it for the next thing we're going to talk about Tencent owning and changing things.
Yeah, so on the Path of Exile front, maybe not all roses over there, Jason. What the hell's going on? Nobody's ever mad at Path of Exile. What's besides besides like bugs and performance, but this is more payment and cosmetics and monetization. I mean, it is the paragon of that, right? It is the paragon of free-to-play monetization. How'd they screw this up?
They put in a battle pass. They've made it overpriced for what they offer, and they made it only available for things that are difficult to get in the first place. So yeah, the Kirax Vault Pass costs $30, has a bunch of achievements, 117 of them total. I don't know how hard some of these are. So maybe, and I know some Path of Exile people will just like spit that out in like 3 days or whatever. But the thing is, what they do is they offer additional cosmetic effects for certain items, but only for the individual items. So the 7 things in there, 7 or 8, I think 7. 7. Oh, so 8. You get 1 for buying it and then 7 more. So 8 total. But they only apply to a single individual rare item that you might have or you might not have, which apparently even the hardcore players are saying are really hard to get. So you have to get the thing. You have to pay $30. Then you have to do the achievements to get all the stuff, to get the effect for the thing. And that's not going over very well.
Even the mighty fall. Even the mighty fall. Raging with the sub. Thanks so much. Much appreciated. Hey, this is good news. Some contract QA testers are about to be brought on to Epic Games as full-time employees with benefits. And this is something I would love to see, and I think all of us would love to see across the industry as they are brought on. Now, it's not all of them. They did say that it is at-will employment and that they won't be able to make the offer to everyone, noting that some exceptions where it makes sense for both the worker and Epic to keep things as they are, a.k.a. under contract. So that's good. Jameson saying, as the veteran football series continues to gain traction, player ratings are more. What the hell is this? This is somebody talking about buying Madden coins. I'm gonna have to delete that. I thought it was actually a thought on the article. No, don't buy Madden coins.
Oh, we have spam.
Yeah, spam comment. I thought it was actually a point because I thought I recognized the name. I did not. Q, great news, though. Now, if Blizzard could just figure out Raven's software instead of trying to hide them and squelch a union vote, things would be headed in the right direction.
I wonder what the difference is between Epic and Blizzard. And it can't possibly be the person who told us over a decade ago that he would pretty much do anything to destroy the working class people and make sure that games aren't fun for the developers or the players.
We shall see. 2 expansions came out this week, gang. Are you playing either of them? World of Warcraft 9.2 update to the Shadowlands expansion. And, of course, Destiny 2 Witch Queen is now available. Raise your hand if you are playing World of Warcraft. Raise your hand if you have tried Destiny the Witch Queen.
I'm going to raise my hand for Yod. I'm hearing his place, because I know he's playing the hell out of it.
He is definitely playing the hell out of it. Employees with benefits. Didn't Blizzard get into trouble for trying that? That's a different benefit, Martha. That's a totally different definition of benefits. I'm actually really enjoying Destiny 2's Witch Queen story so far. I thought the opening mission was really cool when I booted it up the first day. And yeah, there's a couple spots that I don't quite like the way you have to basically grind. It's a little longer than I would like, but, you get through it. I'm actually really, really enjoying it. Again, Jason, we've talked about this before. I don't know how long I'll stick because it's one of those games that I'm just kind of like, well, I've played the main story, and there's 40 things in this log, and I don't really know what's worth doing, so I'm going to go play Final Fantasy.
That's my feeling on Destiny 2. It's like when I play it, it's cool because, like I said, it looks so cool. Like the trailers they produce are top notch.
Oh, yeah.
It looks cool, but after the 80th time you've done your special maneuver, you're like, okay, bunch of stuff dropped. All right, whatever. Next thing, move on. Yeah, like you said, It doesn't have that sticking power, and it's a greedy game. It wants all your time. So
it definitely is a greedy game. Disclosure, by the way, I did not pay for it. The copy was given to me for streaming purposes, so we will be streaming it. Not today, but I'm planning to stream it next Friday. That way, I'm already past all the story stuff that might be a spoiler for people. So let us know.
I get all my enjoyment from Destiny 2 just by watching the trailers. That's all I need.
Let us know if you are playing either expansion or patch in the comments below as we prep for more expansions over the next 7 days, including End of Dragons, the Swords of Legends Online expansion coming in the first week of March there. So lots of other expansions. We'll be covering it all on mmobomb.com, so make sure you visit the site and check it all out. On that note, let's slide over and do the weekly bombs. Yeah, K-Max excited for End of Dragons, and I know Jason is too. I'm going to give a dub bomb. My original dub bomb was to V Rising. There's some more dev bloggy stuff. It's not like news, besides the fact that they say a closed beta is coming. But it was more like behind-the-scenes stuff. It is a really cool blog. Q wrote it up yesterday on the site. Go take a look at it. Some neat pictures and animations if you like behind-the-scenes stuff, and I'm looking forward to V Rising. But it's superseded now at this point by Elden Ring. Now, I don't know if I'm going to rate Elden Ring at the 97 or 100% that a lot of editors are giving it right now. I'm way too early. I did not have early access to the game to be able to make that decision. But I am enjoying where I'm at so far, which is the first few opening hours of the game. In fact, like I was telling Havoc before the show, I was like, yeah, there's multiplayer, but it's multiplayer in the way Dark Souls, Demon Souls is, and I don't think that's really multiplayer enough to count to be able to stream it after the cast today, because I really wanted to finish the show and play Elden Ring, but I don't think I can count it as multiplayer enough for a stream. So I'm going to give a dub bomb to V Rising and one to Elden Ring. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm giving a bomb to the Cycle.
I know you're really unhappy about this. They took a game we actually enjoyed and I think stabbed it in the heart for us.
Well, it's like, first of all, they stabbed in the heart because they were going to be like, oh, it's going to be hardcore. You're going to go down to the planet. If you die, you lose your stuff. And now they're like, well, maybe you don't actually lose your stuff. You can buy insurance for your stuff. Then you might not lose it, but you still might. But we're going to put in, oh, there's another thing. The salvage thing you can get. They can also get it back with that. It's like they just put in all this crap for no reason other than probably to appeal to like 6 hardcore players who wanted to be super tough. We've all probably moved on from the game, so now that's why they put in the other thing, because the playtesters are saying we don't like it this way. So
yeah, that's the hard thing too. They're trying to do like a reboot, but I don't like. Was it big enough to really warrant a reboot? Like, I don't think so. No. But we'll keep an eye on it. When we can get our hands on it, we of course will stream it and do a new first look.
Maybe you'll stream it. I don't know. At this point, it's slid way down on my list.
Yeah,
of things I'm interested in.
Go ahead, Q. What do you got?
I'm going to go ahead and give yet another A-bomb to Activision Blizzard. I am sick of writing about you. I'm sick of hearing about your stuff. Get your shit together so we can all move on.
From the viewers, K-Max says A-bomb to Elden Ring for FPS issues on PC. Yeah, there are some. I just kind of take that stuff in stride anymore. Dub-bomb for End of Dragons on the horizon finally. Nasagra, dub-bomb for End of Dragons. Want to play it so much. There is a lot of hype. From the viewers box, given a dub-bomb to Lost Ark because I've been having a blast getting 2 characters to 50. We'll probably slow down here until the Destroyer class releases because that's the one I'm most interested in trying next. Lots of people still sticking with the old Lost Ark there, Jason. They're still
so is
sticking with the
993.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean,
So
there's over 800,000 playing right now.
Whatever. Dub-bomb to Lost Ark. I agree with Jason and Zach. Having a great time at the moment as a filthy casual. Dub-bomb for a mobile game, Super Auto Pets, that is so addicting I had to uninstall it.
I like this so much, I gotta stop playing. What do you got?
I was like, when Hearthstone first came out, I was like that too. I was like, I gotta put this down for a while.
Were you really? Like you?
Yeah.
Seeing cards in your sleep.
What really got me was the music. the sound, the music in the game, I had to mute that because I kept running. When I'd go to bed at night, I just couldn't get it out of my head.
Yeah,
So
the whole Tetris effect going on, huh?
yeah.
Or going back to the days of Mario when you would just hear like the little going down the tube sound in your head for no
Womp,
random.
womp, womp, womp. Go ahead, Q.
Chaos Causer. Guild Wars 2 should have more players. One of my favorite MMORPGs. It baffles me how Final Fantasy has more players. It's so boring in comparison.
People like boring.
Shut up. I'm one of those people.
Bored by Guild Wars 2, so.
7-Bit Brian says, even after this change, talking about Guild Wars 2 and the Mystic Coin / Fractals changes we talked about on last week's show, Fractals are still the most rewarding content by hour of play. The thing is, you could literally farm Fractals and get everything you need for legendaries and the like, and never participate in any other part of the game. This is spreading the rewards out more to encourage people to play more than just Fractals. And even after removing the Mystic Coins, Fractals still earn you the most gold per hour in-game, as well as unique titles, weapons, drops, etc. And yeah, I mean, setting aside titles and stuff like that, I did see like mathematical analysis of if you are farming gold, Fractals will still be the way to go. So I assume 7-Bit Brian is absolutely on point there. I can't speak to like the titles and weapons and drops like that. Go ahead, Jason.
First of all, 7-Bit Brian. There's an old name that goes back like way back.
Yeah. I was delighted to see it. By the way, Brian, nice to see you. I hope you're sticking around.
He brings up a good point that I wasn't even aware of, saying that you get everything you need from legendaries from doing Fractals. And that reminds me, a lot of times when a game has like this one thing, like one dungeon that you can run and get everything, if they change that, well, that's bad. If you can just do like 1/10 of 1% of the content and do everything you want, that's bad for the game.
Right.
But when the developers try to change that, oh my God, did they get yelled at? This is the one thing I grounded over and over every day, 15 times a day. And you're going to make your life do something else? You're terrible designers. You don't know what you're doing. So yeah, that's yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Racy 101 is an absolute mad lad that Angel Investor was, talking about the Titanfall guy. Truly living up to the moniker, and they still fucked it up. I'm honestly astonished by his generosity, and even after being temporarily robbed of his money, he still thought enough of the humanitarian cause and moral imperative to fund the desperate fool's father's medical expenses. I don't know how many people that would have had that level of charity at any level. Yeah, I mean...
I'm just baffled. Absolutely baffled. Go ahead, Q.
Silverisk, A-Bomb to Earth Days being only 24 hours. So much to play these days. Also, sadly, Lost Ark is slowly losing me. I don't know what it is, but I'm too old to get into 1,000 systems at once. Please just streamline it so my tired old bones can assimilate it easier.
There are a ton of systems in Lost Ark, and I mean, if you do take the time, I do agree with something Zach tweeted the other day. I love how all the systems interconnect later in the game and work together. But it can be overwhelming, and you know it's very easy to just go, I don't want to bother learning this. I'm going to go play something that I don't have to relearn stuff.
I haven't gotten to that point yet, and I'm still seeing some of the menus saying this unlocks after so and so, and I'm like, I was like 6 more of these menus.
Yeah. Dishwisher, the weekly A-bomb goes to myself for all the things I meant to say here yet didn't. And yes, there have been many excuses that could be made, but I know if I really, really wanted to comment, I could have. Disclaimer, this comment is subject to change. Should I finally get my crap together and post what I actually want to post? Dishwisher, I don't believe, did. So I brought that comment to the show.
Well, this is my favorite comment because I just feel
weird
that.
Comment. I'm sad that I didn't comment, so I'm leaving a comment about how I didn't comment.
Exactly. Question of the week last week. What is the best MMORPG expansion of all time and why? EIE7 says, question of the week, man, I know End of Dragons is not out yet, but apart from the change they announced for Mystic Coins, that looks like a solid expansion. We got Fishing with Friends. We got a small robo friend, new strike missions, and hell, some great looking specializations. So my vote goes to that. Been playing the base game for a few months now and absolutely loving it. Looking forward to End of Dragons. If not End of Dragons, as it's not released yet, I would say Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Like, I don't even need to explain why. People literally waited in queue to play the game and still had a blast. Their servers were full all around the day because people were just flocking over to play. Hell, they even had to turn off their free trial. That's back on as of this week, by the way, because there was no way it could handle all the new people coming to try the game. The trial is going to be back up now after months. Enough said. So we get a vote for a game that isn't out yet, and then just in case we don't count that, they give us another one. So well done on that question of the week answer. Go ahead, Jason.
First of all, Da Bomb in chat by Mad Martha. For Da Bomb for Jason, I heard he's getting us all pizza. Literally like 5 seconds before you wrote that, I got the message in Discord that said it's arrived. So we're steaming through these now. Box, question of the week. For me personally, I would say Mr. Pandaria has always been my favorite. It added probably my favorite location, favorite class. I played all the way from MOP till I finally quit in Shadowlands. I know a lot of people wrote it off because Lol Panda's been genuinely such a fun expansion. Look back on all the features and stuff too. Q.
Crap.
Yeah, we are not rushing that fast, Q. Go ahead.
No. Vim, question of the week. I will have to say Wrath of the Lich King. I played WoW a lot during Vanilla, took a break during the Burning Crusade, and came back for Wrath of the Lich King, and have so many great memories from that expansion, especially from raiding Uldar with friends and my brother. Honorable mentions: Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, Guild Wars Factions, Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire.
Yeah, I was surprised that Wrath of the Lich King didn't show up more than it actually did. It did show up, but I thought that was going to be one that just repeatedly was mentioned. Norelli says, honestly, for me, the Guild Wars 1 expansions were great, especially Factions, which had a special place in my heart. I particularly loved the beautiful location and scenery, hence my excitement for End of Dragons. I hope it lives up to my expectations and pink-clouded nostalgia, though. Fingers crossed. Another expansion I remember being very good was Diablo 2's Lord of Destruction. Hell yeah, back in the day. In recent years, though, I haven't felt like any expansion has been super good, at least for the games I've played. Honorable mention would be Final Fantasy XIV's Endwalker, which I've heard is incredible, but I haven't really played it myself. Thanks for the podcast, guys. No, Norelli, thank you for listening and commenting. Hope to see you in the comments on future shows as well. Go ahead, Jason.
Flip Frost Fang says, for the question of the week, for me, Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire was an amazing expansion because it had a lot of new things. It was a massive in comparison to Heart of Thorns. Perhaps it was a bit too much.
Maybe.
I'm one of those rare guys who almost likes Heart of Thorns better. I know I'm weird like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. Q, you get our Guild Wars 2 giveaway winner, Drisnet86ZBT. What do they have to say?
For the question of the week, I'd have to go a little more with old school Guild Wars 1 Factions. It was an amazing expansion with the addition of the new areas in the original Cantha, as well as one of my all-time favorite classes, the Ritualist.
Wolfwood chiming in saying, for the question of the week, Guild Wars to have a Path of Fire, I think is what they meant to say, was a good expansion. Looking forward to the new one, plus looking forward to the new expansion for Star Wars. It's so short. It's really short. It's super short. Go ahead, Jason.
Brickner Catalan says, question of the week. I know it's not technically an expansion, but the original ESO turning into Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited is my favorite. The game used to require a monthly sub and was pretty linear, but then they removed the sub and made zones scale with your level, making the whole game content viable for leveling from the start. Yeah, it sounds cool. Too bad about that inventory bag, that crafting bag.
He's never, ever going to get over that.
Nope.
I don't have a question of the week. I totally spaced. I meant to come back and add one. Anybody got a question of the week?
What game are you playing this month? Because there's so many of them out there.
That's actually a good question.
I just came up with that on the fly. There we go.
All right, so we'll put it in there. What is your main game this month? The end of February into March, with all these expansions, all of these new titles, whether they're multiplayer or not, what is your main game, and why did it beat out everything else? Good job there, Jason. We, of course, will be back next Friday with another episode of the Always Online Multiplayer Gaming Podcast. Make sure you click like, subscribe, and follow, and all that fun stuff. Come join us live sometime, twitch.tv/MMOBomb. Until next time, Q, where can everybody find you?
King on Twitter at Quintland.
Jason.
On Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at magicman1, but more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so we can tweet at you every time we go live with a podcast, stream, news article, first look video, giveaway, and so much more. Until next week, gang, stay safe We'll see you on the servers.